It's funny how life works. We spend our younger years racing through days, juggling responsibilities, learning, building, chasing dreams, sometimes forgetting to just breathe. And then one day we find ourselves with a little more quiet, a little more space. Maybe the house isn't as full as it used to be. Maybe our mornings are slower now and we actually get to taste the coffee instead of gulping it down on the run. And in those stiller moments, we start asking different questions. Not just what's for dinner or where are my keys, but deeper ones. Like, how do I stay sharp? How do I keep my mind strong? How do I stay me? If you found yourself wondering about that too, friend, you are in exactly the right place. Because today we're having a heart-to-heart about something that matters more than almost anything else as we age, our brain health. And not in a scary, complicated medical way, but in a real, hopeful, practical way. The kind of conversation you might have over tea with a trusted friend who's done a little digging, lived a little life, and genuinely wants you to feel good, clear, calm, and confident in your own mind. Now here's the good news. There's a lot we can't control about getting older, but there's also a lot we can. And one of the most powerful things we can do every single day is give our brains the kind of fuel that helps them flourish. That's right. I'm talking about food. Not fancy supplements or magic potions. Just real, everyday foods you may already have in your kitchen, or at least have walked past 100 times at the grocery store. And some of them, they're surprisingly simple and surprisingly powerful. What we eat doesn't just affect our waistlines or our cholesterol numbers. It deeply affects how we think and feel. It touches our memory, our mood, our clarity, even our sense of direction or our ability to remember a name mid-conversation. And after 65, when our brains naturally go through changes, these little choices can make a big difference. Now, I'm not going to hit you with a long list or drown you in studies. This is just you and me having a down-to-earth chat. And I want to start with something you might not expect. Something small, dark, and sweet. Blueberries. Yep. That humble little berry that stains your fingers and rolls off your spoon when you're not looking. You see, blueberries are more than just a tasty topping for your oatmeal or a pop of color in a fruit salad. They're what scientists like to call a brain berry. But let's skip the jargon for a second. Here's what's really going on. Inside those little blue gems are compounds called flavonoids, especially one called anthocyanin. That's the stuff that gives blueberries their rich color and, more importantly, helps protect the brain from oxidative stress. I like to think of it like this. Imagine your brain is a beautiful old house. Strong bones, lovely character, but over time dust settles, the windows get a bit foggy and things slow down. Blueberries? They're like a gentle cleaning crew. They come in quietly, sweep up the cobwebs, and help you see clearly again. And the effects aren't just poetic. People who eat blueberries regularly, especially older adults, have shown improvements in memory and even in learning ability. Some studies suggest they may even help delay age-related decline. But let me put it in human terms. Adding a handful of blueberries to your day could help you remember where you put your glasses, or recall that word that's been sitting on the tip of your tongue. And don't worry, you don't have to eat them by the bucketful. A few times a week is plenty. Toss them in your yogurt, blend them in a smoothie, or just grab a small bowl and enjoy them slowly, like a little daily treat for your brain. Now, speaking of treats, let me take you to the other side of the world for a second, to a place where tea is more than a drink. It's a ritual. I'm talking about Japan, and more specifically, green tea. You may have sipped it before, maybe even heard that it's good for you. But did you know that green tea contains a compound called L-theanine that helps calm the mind without making you sleepy? It's kind of like that friend who always knows what to say, soothing, grounding, gently focusing you when things feel scattered. When paired with the small dose of caffeine that green tea naturally has, L-theanine can help improve alertness, attention, and mental clarity. It's like turning down the volume on the mental noise so you can focus on what really matters. One of my dear friends, Ruth, started swapping her second cup of coffee for a cup of warm green tea every afternoon. She said it didn't just help her stay sharp, it actually helped her feel present. Less jittery, more grounded. She said it was like getting her thoughts to walk in a straight line instead of zigzagging all over the place. And I know green tea isn't everyone's favorite at first. It can taste a bit grassy if you're not used to it, but there are so many varieties, some milder, some floral, even some with a hint of toasted rice. And once you find the one that clicks with your taste buds, it becomes less of a habit and more of a ritual. A moment to breathe, to care for yourself. Now, if anything I've said so far has sparked a little light bulb for you, maybe made you think of someone you love, or maybe even made you think, I could try that, I want to gently invite you to like or share this video. Not for me, but because someone else you care about might need this reminder too. Sometimes a small nudge, like hearing about blueberries or green tea, can be the first step toward feeling better, thinking clearer, or just making a brighter choice at the grocery store. And that's what we're really doing here. Making one bright choice at a time. Not chasing perfection. Not rewriting the past. Just giving our brains the love and attention they deserve, because they've carried us through a lot, haven't they? So let's keep walking this path together. There's more to share, more to explore, and more to enjoy. You're not alone in this. Let's keep going, shall we? The more I talk to folks in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, the more I hear this beautiful theme come through. I want to stay me for as long as I can. And it touches me every time, because underneath those few words is a whole world of meaning. Staying sharp means remembering birthdays, telling stories to the grandkids, having real conversations without losing your train of thought, or even just walking into a room and knowing exactly why you're there. And listen, if you've had those "why did I come in here" moments lately, you're not alone. It happens to all of us, especially as we get older. But that doesn't mean we can't do something about it. Remember, the brain is like a garden. What we feed it, what we plant in it, makes all the difference. And today, I want to tell you about another unexpected brain-boosting food that just might surprise you. Pumpkin seeds. Yes, really, those little guys most people scoop out and toss when they're carving a jack-o'-lantern. But here's the thing. Inside those humble seeds is a treasure chest of nutrients your brain loves. Now, I'll keep this simple, because nobody needs a science lecture after 65. Pumpkin seeds are rich in something called magnesium, which is like the brain's natural chill pill. It helps regulate the nervous system, supports memory function, and even helps us sleep better. And sleep? Oh, sleep is when the brain gets a chance to clean house. If you've ever woken up after a solid night's sleep and felt like your thoughts were clearer, that's not your imagination. That's your brain doing what it's designed to do. But that's not all. Pumpkin seeds are also packed with zinc and iron, two little nutrients that help keep your thinking sharp and your focus steady. And here's the best part, you don't need a lot. A small handful a few times a week can make a difference. You can sprinkle them on salads, stir them into yogurt, or just enjoy them roasted with a little sea salt. Some folks even blend them into smoothies for a little crunch and a lot of brain love. Let me tell you about my neighbor, Carl. He's 72, retired from a long career in carpentry and sharp as a tack. A few months ago, he started adding pumpkin seeds to his breakfast after reading about their brain benefits. I asked him how it was going, and he grinned and said, "Well, I haven't forgotten my wife's birthday yet this year, so that's a win." He might have been joking, but the truth is, small changes do add up. That's something I hope you really take to heart. It's never about overhauling your life. The little things. The handful of seeds. The switch from soda to green tea. The berries on your oatmeal. These aren't just changes, they're investments in your future self. And that future self is so worth it. Now, I want to ask you something. Just between us. Have you ever noticed how certain foods just seem to make you feel lighter, more energized, more focused, even if you can't quite explain why? Sometimes our bodies know what's good for us before our minds do. That's why I always encourage folks to really pay attention after they eat. How do you feel an hour later? Foggy? Calm? Focused? Sluggish? Those signals matter. They're like little nudges from your body, guiding you toward what works best for you. And that brings me to another powerful food that people often overlook: eggs. Now, I know eggs have had a bit of a reputation roller coaster over the years. First, they were the breakfast of champions, then folks said they were too high in cholesterol, and now, well, the truth is eggs, especially the yolks, are a fantastic source of a nutrient called choline. And choline is like brain fuel. It helps produce a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine, which supports memory and learning. Without getting too technical, let's just say it's kind of like the oil that keeps the gears in your mind turning smoothly. And the best part? Eggs are simple, versatile, and affordable. Scrambled, boiled, poached, or tucked into an omelet with some veggies, there are so many ways to enjoy them. My sister Maria, who's in her late 60s, swears by her 2-egg breakfast every morning. She says it sets the tone for her whole day. It's like my brain stretches and says, "Okay, I'm ready," she told me one morning while flipping eggs on the skillet. And you know what? She's right. A good start can carry you through the whole day, especially when it comes to your mind. Now, before we continue, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever noticed a food that helps you think more clearly? Or maybe something that leaves you feeling foggy or sluggish? If you're comfortable, I'd love it if you'd share your experience in the comments. You never know who your story might help. Sometimes one small comment can make someone else say, "Hey, I thought it was just me." And that's how we lift each other up. 'Cause really, this journey, it's better when we walk it together. None of us have all the answers, but when we share what works, we all get a little wiser, a little stronger, a little more connected. And that's what this channel is all about. So, here we are, just real people having a real talk about staying mentally sharp and feeling good in our own skin. We've talked about blueberries, green tea, pumpkin seeds, and eggs so far. And as we keep going, I think you'll be surprised at what else can nourish your mind in gentle, natural ways. We're not chasing youth, we're embracing wisdom. And with every small step, every thoughtful bite, we're honoring the amazing journey our brains have been on, and preparing them for many more beautiful chapters to come. Let's keep going, my friend. There's more to explore, and I'm right here with you. Something beautiful happens when we start making small choices that support our well-being. It's not just about what's on our plate anymore, it's about how we feel inside. There's a sense of confidence that builds, a kind of quiet strength, like, "I've got this." And let me tell you, that feeling? It's powerful at any age, but especially after 65. Because here's the truth most people don't talk about. Your brain still wants to grow. It still wants to learn. It still wants to feel joy, connection, curiosity. And when we feed it the right things, physically and emotionally, we're giving it the best chance to thrive, not just survive. Now, let's keep going with our conversation about foods that help the brain do exactly that. We've talked about blueberries, green tea, pumpkin seeds, and eggs. And today, I want to share one that might surprise you even more. Not because you haven't heard of it, but because you may not have realized just how good it is for your mind. Dark chocolate. Yes, I said chocolate. And no, you didn't mishear me. Now, before you run to the candy aisle, let's talk about what makes dark chocolate so special. We're not talking about sugar-loaded chocolate bars or sweet treats from the checkout counter. We're talking about real, rich, high-quality dark chocolate, ideally 70% cacao or higher. What's in it that helps the brain? Well, dark chocolate contains flavonoids, similar to the ones found in blueberries. These flavonoids travel to the parts of the brain involved in learning and memory, especially the hippocampus, That's the part of your brain that stores new information, kind of like your brain's personal filing cabinet. But here's the part one love. Dark chocolate also helps increase blood flow to the brain. That means more oxygen, more nutrients, more fuel. It's like opening the windows in a stuffy room and letting fresh air rush in. And the cherry on top? It also encourages the release of endorphins, the feel-good chemicals that can lift your mood and calm your nerves. So it's not just about thinking more clearly, it's about feeling better too. I'll tell you a little story about my friend Ellen. She's 74, full of fire and always cracking jokes. A few years ago, her doctor recommended she cut back on heavy desserts, so she made a small shift, swapped out nightly cookies for a square of dark chocolate after dinner. "It's my little luxury," she said with a wink. "Tastes like indulgence, feels like self-care." And honestly, that's exactly the mindset we want. Nourishing your brain should feel like a gift, not a punishment. So if you've been looking for a brain-friendly treat that doesn't feel like a sacrifice, dark chocolate might just be your answer. And no, you don't need much. Just a small square a few times a week can go a long way. Savor it. Let it melt. Make it part of your evening routine. A little sweet moment just for you. Now, I want to pause here for just a second. If you've been enjoying this conversation, if it's given you something to think about or even a gentle nudge to try something new, I'd love for you to subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and tap that button, and maybe even turn on the little bell so you don't miss future videos. Not because we're chasing numbers, but because I'd love for you to be part of this growing community of folks who are choosing to care for their minds, their bodies, and their lives together. You're not just a viewer here. You're a voice, a presence, a story, and I want you here with us. Alright, let's keep going. By now you might be thinking, okay, I've got the snacks down, but what about meals? What's something I can actually sit down to with a knife and fork that helps my brain? I'm so glad you asked. Let's talk about leafy greens, specifically spinach, kale, and Swiss chard. These aren't just rabbit food or sides we push around on the plate. These are heavy hitters for brain health, especially as we get older. What makes them so special? Well, they're rich in vitamin K, lutein, folate, and beta-carotene. Don't worry about remembering all the names, just know this: they help slow cognitive decline. That means they support memory, attention, and even processing speed, the kind of things that help you remember what day it is, follow a recipe, or enjoy a good conversation without losing your train of thought. Now, if you've never been a big fan of greens, don't worry, you don't have to gnaw on raw kale to get the benefits. You can sauté spinach with a little olive oil and garlic, toss some mixed greens into your sandwich, or even blend them into a smoothie with banana and frozen mango. You won't even taste it, I promise. And hey, if you have been a green lover for years, that's wonderful. You're already giving your brain a steady dose of what it craves. Keep it up. Your future self is already thanking you. One thing I've found incredibly helpful, and maybe you have too, is pairing habits together. So if you're trying to eat more greens, maybe every time you make your morning tea or coffee, you remind yourself to prep a little salad for later. Or when you pull out the eggs, toss in a handful of spinach for a brain-boosting scramble. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be intentional. And really, that's the heart of everything we're talking about. Being intentional. Saying to yourself, I matter enough to take care of this incredible brain of mine. Even if you've never paid much attention to it before. Even if you've had days where you felt foggy, frustrated, or forgetful. That's okay. Because now, you can do something about it. And that knowledge, that's the start of real change. So let's keep going. You're doing wonderfully. This journey isn't about restriction or fear. It's about nourishment, joy, and rediscovering what it means to feel alive and aware in you. We've still got more to talk about. More wisdom to share. But right now, I hope you're feeling inspired. Maybe even proud. Because choosing to care for your brain, at any age, is one of the most powerful, loving things you can do. And I'm honored to be walking this road with you. As we get older, something really special starts to happen. We begin to see things more clearly, not just with our eyes, but with our hearts. We start to realize what truly matters: peace of mind, good health, deep conversations, little joys, and maybe most of all, clarity. The ability to think clearly, to remember the good times, to stay connected to who we are and the people we love. That's what brain health is really about, isn't it? Not just ticking off nutrients on a checklist, but preserving the things that make life feel rich. Your stories, your laughter, the sparkle in your eyes when you recall something beautiful from long ago. That's why we've been talking about these surprising foods that support your brain after 65. Not as some magic fix, but as gentle tools to help you live fully, intentionally, and joyfully. So far, we've explored blueberries, green tea, pumpkin seeds, eggs, dark chocolate, and leafy greens. And now, I want to introduce something a little different. Something you might already have in your pantry. It's small, it's ancient, and it's packed with quiet power. I'm talking about turmeric. Yes, that golden spice you've probably seen in curry or golden milk recipes. For centuries, turmeric has been used in Indian and Southeast Asian cooking, but it's only recently that folks in the West have started realizing just how good it is for the brain, especially after 60. Now, what gives turmeric its power is a compound called curcumin. Again, don't worry about the big word. Just remember this. Curcumin is a natural anti-inflammatory. And inflammation, especially in the brain, is one of the biggest reasons we start to feel foggy, forgetful, or off our game as we age. Think of it like this: your brain is like a beautiful, complex radio. But when inflammation gets in there, it's like static on the line. Things get fuzzy. Connections get slower. But when you calm that inflammation down, the signal gets clearer. The music of your thoughts can play again. Turmeric can help with that. Now, I'm not saying it's a cure-all, but adding just a bit of turmeric to your meals, sprinkled into soups, stews, scrambled eggs, or even blended into a warm drink with milk and honey, can give your brain the kind of support it deeply appreciates. And here's a little trick. Adding a dash of black pepper helps your body absorb curcumin even better. Just a pinch is enough. My friend Norma, she's 78 and sharp as a whip, makes herself a warm turmeric latte every afternoon around 3. It's my golden hour, she says. And I love that, because creating those little rituals, those moments of nourishment, is just as important as the ingredients themselves. When you pause and care for yourself like that, it's a message to your body and your brain. You matter, and you do. You matter more than you know. Now, before we go further, I just want to remind you, none of this is about perfection. It's not about eating the right things all the time or never having a treat. It's about making small, meaningful shifts. Maybe you start with one brain-friendly meal a day, or maybe you add a new food each week. Whatever works for you is good enough. This isn't a sprint, it's a beautiful, winding walk through the years. So now that we've covered so many nourishing foods, I want to leave you with a little bonus tip. Something that's often overlooked but incredibly powerful for your brain. It's hydration. I know. It doesn't sound glamorous, but you'd be surprised how many older adults walk around slightly dehydrated every day without realizing it. And when your brain doesn't have enough water, it can't function the way it should. It's like trying to run a car without oil. Things start to grind, slow down, or misfire. Even mild dehydration can cause fatigue, confusion, dizziness, and brain fog. And because our sense of thirst tends to dull with age, we often don't realize we're thirsty until we're already behind. So here's something gentle you can do for yourself. Set a little rhythm to your day. A glass of water when you wake up. A sip or two during each meal. Maybe keep a small bottle nearby as a reminder. And if plain water doesn't appeal to you, Try infusing it with lemon, cucumber, or a splash of natural fruit juice. Herbal teas are wonderful too. The goal isn't to drink gallons, it's just to keep that steady, life-giving flow going through your system. Your brain will thank you for it. And remember, it's never too late to start. Truly. I once met a gentleman at a senior center who, at 85, decided he was going to start drinking more water and eating more greens. I figured, he said, I may be older, but my brain's still got things to do. I love that. That's the spirit. That's what this whole journey is about. We've all got things to do, stories to tell, laughs to share. And even if your memory isn't what it used to be, even if some days feel a little slower than others, that's okay. You're still here. You're still growing. You're still capable of amazing things. And every small step you take, every mindful choice, is a way of saying, I believe in myself. And I believe in you too. So go easy on yourself. Celebrate your progress. And keep choosing foods, habits, and moments that support your beautiful brain. Not because you have to, but because you deserve to. We're not trying to turn back the clock. We're trying to make every moment we still have count. To feel more present, more connected, more alive. And isn't that what we're all after? If you've made it this far with me, I just want to take a moment to say, thank you. Thank you for spending this time on yourself, for caring about your health, and for showing up today with curiosity, with heart, and with that spark that says, I'm not done growing yet. Because no matter where you are on your journey, whether you're feeling sharp and strong or you've been worried about those occasional memory slips or brain fog, there's something beautiful in deciding to nourish yourself. It's an act of hope, a quiet but powerful way of saying, I still have dreams. I still have purpose. I'm still me. Throughout this conversation, we've explored foods that don't just fill your belly, they feed your brain. Blueberries, green tea, pumpkin seeds, eggs, dark chocolate, leafy greens, turmeric, even the simple power of staying hydrated. And while they may seem like ordinary things, each one carries something extraordinary within it. Something that can gently support your memory, your clarity, your focus, your energy. But more than the foods themselves, I hope you felt something deeper here. That your health doesn't have to fade with age. That your mind is still capable of learning, adapting, and shining brightly. That it's never too late to start something new, to feel better, to care more deeply for the body and brain that have carried you through so many seasons. I know life after 65 can be a mix of emotions. For some, it's a time of freedom, a new chapter. For others, it can feel uncertain. Maybe there have been losses, maybe there are health challenges, or maybe you just don't feel like yourself anymore. And if that's you, please know you're not alone. So many of us are walking this path together. But I want you to remember this: every age brings its own kind of strength. At 30, that strength might be in your stride. At 60, it might be in your wisdom. And at 70, 80, or beyond, that strength is in your presence, your resilience, the quiet courage it takes to keep going, keep learning, keep loving yourself through every wrinkle, every change, every new morning. And caring for your brain? That's one of the most loving things you can do. Because when your brain is cared for, your memories stay closer. Your conversations feel richer. Your independence feels stronger. You walk into a room and feel grounded, connected, not just to others, but to yourself. And no matter what your past has looked like, whether you've been a lifelong healthy eater or this is all brand new, it doesn't matter. You can start today, right now, with a single decision. One extra glass of water. One new food on your plate. One moment of stillness where you remind yourself, I'm worth it. Because you are. Deeply, truly, absolutely worth it. So here's what I hope you take with you beyond the blueberries and turmeric and all the rest. You're not too old. You're not too late. And your brain is still listening, still learning, still ready for you to show up for it. Maybe today you try one of the foods we talked about. Maybe tomorrow you make it a habit. And maybe by next week you start to notice a little more clarity, a little more pep in your step, a little more of you returning to the surface. And wouldn't that be something? Now, before we part ways today, I'd love to invite you. If this video resonated with you, if it made you feel seen or inspired in any way, please take a moment to like it, share it with someone you care about, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Not because I'm asking for clicks, but because I want to keep walking this journey with you. I want you to be part of this community that believes growing older doesn't mean growing weaker. It means growing wiser. We're in this together, every step. So let's keep learning. Let's keep nourishing. Let's keep showing the world and ourselves that aging is not the end of the story. It's just another beautiful chapter. And you, my friend, are the author. So here's to living your best life at any age. Take care of your heart, your body, and your brilliant, beautiful brain. And until next time, be gentle with yourself. I'll see you soon. With love always.
Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. It truly means a lot. If you found this video helpful or inspiring, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with a friend or loved one who might benefit. And leave a comment below. We love hearing your thoughts and experiences. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest tips and uplifting advice for living your best life at any age. Now, if you're ready for more wisdom and encouragement, just click the video that's on your screen right now. It's packed with even more insights made just for you. Take care, stay positive, and we'll see you in the next one.